In this video, I'll be making the money clipper wallet from Maker's Leather Supply template. On this piece of the template, there's a line that you have to draw, that you have to cut a short piece and then the whole piece. Right there's the line. You cut it to that line, and that'll be the part that goes on the outside of the money clip. Going to skive down the card pockets to where it's not as thick when it's all assembled. Just going to do a little quick skiving. Took too much. Cut another one. Hopefully I'll have a little bit better luck skiving this pocket. Hey. Going to wet this pocket down a little bit. I want to put a crease along the top edge of the pocket. Makes it look a little bit better. Going to put a little edge crease on the top edge of the pockets. The second pocket that I'm going to do, you'll see that it's white. Not really a leather color. It's actually alligator that I'm going to dye. Forgot that the customer wanted alligator, so there it is. Now you got to do that. With that, you got to heat it up a little bit. It gives it a better burnish on the softer leathers. Customer wanted black, so we're going to dye this with 5-inch black dye. I'm just going to dip dye all the pieces. That way it's all uniform and looks a lot better than trying to daub it on there with a sponge or something. I'm using tan coat to seal the leather so the dye doesn't rub off. We'll let this dry and then come back and start assembling. This other piece of the template has a line on it also, and then it has 4 little holes on there that you don't really want to mark. But you use that line so you'll know, you put it on one side and the bottom side is going to be where your pocket, your T pocket's going to go, which it's not really a T pocket, it's a odd shaped pocket. Lining it up here, I'm going to use a rougher to rough the smooth side of that leather so the contact cement will have something to grip to. I'll contact cement it up and stick it down. Going to tap it down to help set the glue. Marking a stitch line to sew about 1/8 inch above the bottom of the pocket. All right, that's sewed on. Now I'm going to have to rough the bottom of the pocket of that so I can put the second pocket on. All right, that side's done. It'll be sewn when I sew it all together. Now I need to make the money clip part. On the same piece of the template that had the line on it, I told you it had the dots, the holes right there, the holes. That's the outline where the money clip piece will go. So you kind of want to mark those, but not real hard. You don't want to punch all the way through or anything. Just kind of mark them so you can know where they are so you can line it up. Got this far and I realized that black leather on a black granite rock doesn't show too well, so I'm going to use a folder to maybe you can see it better. Here I'm using double-sided tape. I'm going to use that to stick the magnets to the leather with before I glue it and sew it. The magnets also come from Maker's Leather Supply. You got to mark the polarity, otherwise they won't stick together. If you put them one side against the other side, they push away. I'm going to mark where the glue line will stop so I can get that done. Using these fancy dandy pliers to press the glue down around the magnet, kind of hard with the magnet wanting to suck the pliers up on it. Anyway, that just trying to get it all mashed down around the magnet. Looking for the little dots that I made, so I'll know exactly how far down it needs to go. The bottom of the short piece goes right up against the top of that magnet on the big piece. I'm going to sand the edges on the money clip part to get it all even and make it look pretty before I put it down. Going to mark a stitch line around that magnet and then go ahead and poke some holes and get that stitched up. I'm going to quickly round off the corners a little bit before I sew it up. Sorry about the extra hammering in the background. That's my grandson having a good time back there. Almost forgot, I'm gonna use a little edge coat, a black edge coat to go around the edge of this to make it look pretty. I cut my thread long enough to be able to sew all the way around the large piece, even though I'm starting in the middle where the alligator starts. And gonna go just do the alligator part right now, and then later we'll do the other part to sticking it down to the body. Anyway, I started where the alligator ends, and I'm going to go around until back to the same spot, and then we'll sew it to the body of the wallet. I have the hardest time getting that paper off the back of that tape. So I left the strings long because I need to stitch it down to this like that. So I'm gonna glue it in where it goes, and then punch the holes. So I'm gonna set this to the side for a minute. Put another piece of two-sided tape on the magnet, and now I need to glue just 1/4 inch around to be able to stick it down. I don't want to get it too far past where it's going to go, because it'll look ugly. I may have already done that a little bit. When it dries, maybe it'll peel off a little bit. Just want to go about 1/4 inch all the way around. It's going to take a while for this to get tacky because it's so much. Hard to control with this spatula how much you're putting on. Well, for me it is. For somebody else it might not be. Anyway. Move that out of the way. Now then I'm gonna keep from getting glue on my thread that's got knots in it now. right along the edge of the alligator. Kind of stick it down too. And if it gets more on here, it's not that big a deal because the glue will stick to the tape and stick to the magnet. It's all good. Now we have to let that get dry and get tacky, and then we'll come back and stick them together. Go ahead and put my stitching holes all the way around this other magnet, and then I'll get ready to stitch that up. Trying to get that through there. Need to go from the back side in between the two, so it'll be right. That's a little more difficult than I thought. The glue has kind of got me messed up. So let me waller the hole out a little bit. Come in between. There it goes. My glue is not stuck good. I think I let it dry too long or something. I had a friend come by to say hi, and took a lot longer than I expected, I guess. So anyway, I'm gonna go to my stitching pony and finish stitching this up. All right, I've got it all stitched up. Did all that first, and then it just came around this way. And now then this hole right here, whoop, where I started the thread to go this way, there's not a hole underneath there, so I've got to poke a hole through there because I'm going to stitch across here this way to keep that magnet from moving around, which shouldn't move around because it's glued and stuck down. So I've got to take a awl and very carefully, try not to cut that thread, poke all the way through the back piece. Give it a little wiggle. Okay. And I can go ahead and get that stitch finished. Just like that.
All right, now then I need to poke some holes across here like that, to be able to stitch that across there. I'm going to scribe me a line real quick, because I'm not that good at being straight with stuff, you know what I mean? So I know it's between those two holes right there. All right, stitched across, back stitched a couple. Now we're gonna trim it up. Go ahead and singe those ends down, kind of push them down. Sorry, I ramble too much when I'm working and trying to talk at the same time.
Go to sand the edges up, make them pretty and even, and then we'll continue.
So I'm gonna go ahead and burnish this top edge and this top edge, because those are not gonna get sewn. You're just gonna sew the three sides. That way you can stick stuff in here. Okay?
Using Tokonole to burnish the edges with.
Looks good. I guess I should do this side too, huh? Because that's gonna be hard to do later on. Let's see what I can do. I don't know how this alligator is gonna bevel. It's pretty soft. Yep. It's not gonna bevel. So I'm gonna sand it. Bevel it with sand by sanding it. Alright, I should be able to burnish the rest of it after I get it sewn together. Going to contact cement the 3 sides and stick it down, and then poke holes for the stitches. Alright, still going to need to do a little bit more sanding right here, looks like, and a little bit more here after I've already burnished that, but that's okay. That's part of it. A little bit more sanding here. We'll get on to that. Using a craft tool corner rounder, I guess is what it's called. I don't know. Anyway, it does the trick. I like it. After I do this, I'll sand it a little bit more on the edges here, just to make it look better. It'll make it look pretty. Need to scribe me a stitch line real quick so I'll know where to poke the holes so it's not crooked. Alright, we'll get this threaded up, stitched up. Gonna do just a saddle stitch like I did on the rest of it. Four times the length around is what you want to go for. All right, I'm gonna do a saddle stitch on 3 sides, and I'll be back. Don't want to bore you with that. All right, got it all stitched up. Doesn't look half bad. Go ahead and snip these off and singe them.
Gonna bevel and burnish the three sides.
I'm gonna sand that alligator because it's so thin that it won't hardly, you can't hardly bevel the edge of it unless somebody's got a better idea on how to do that, because I sure don't. So we're just gonna hit it with a sander real quick. Just kind of put just a little bit of a bevel on it. Looks good to me. All right. I'm gonna put edge coat on this edge. Make it look pretty. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna use Fivings black edge coat to get these edges. Got this cute little handy dandy tool. This could get all over everything and make a mess, just so you'll know. This works way better than a Q-tip does. See what I tell you? All right, we're gonna let that dry. Clean myself up and clean my tool up. All right, I think we're done. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yep. And those fit right in there just like that.